Hey guys, welcome back to System Shock 2. Last time we picked the Navy to join, and now we're in this space station. There's a guy watching me. Says nothing.
Welcome aboard the space station Chesapeake Bay, sailor. It looks like you've picked up some standard weapon skills at Basic on Coronado Island. Now it's time for your tour of duty. Your tour will consist of 4 postings over 4 years. In this man's Navy, you're given a choice of 3 different postings a year. It's up to you to decide what kind of career you want to have, so choose wisely. Just approach a shuttle bay to receive a briefing on a posting. If you think that posting is right for you, head into that bay to accept the assignment.
Huh. Game. This game's choices. What is this? That doesn't open. This game has a lot of choices. I don't know why. I don't see these 3 doors that he's talking about. Not talking alone. Ah, here we go. Space station just looks really nice, to be honest.
The UNN Lucille is looking for an ops training officer to learn the ship's navigation and data control systems. You'll get your feet wet with the high-tech systems, but also expect some heavy lifting. The UNN Lucille is looking for an engineer's mate to help maintain the ship's core energy systems. There's some heavy lifting involved, sailor, but you'll learn your way around the high-tech equipment.
Oh, I see.
The UNN Lucille is looking for volunteers for their military police detachment. Those sailors can get pretty rowdy on these year-long cruises, so you better not be afraid of a tussle.
Well, that's pretty cool. That each of those things have like their own story, and through the story give you different...
The UNN Lucille is looking for an ops training officer to learn the ship's navigation and data control systems. You'll get your feet wet with the high-tech systems, but also expect some heavy lifting.
That's gonna get annoying. Alright. February 13th, 2112. Your tour of duty aboard the UNN Lucille has concluded. You've spent a productive year. Captain Mayer was pleased with your work, especially with the initiative you showed in physical training. A friendly ensign showed you some backdoors into the ship's primary data loop, and you spent your time off pumping good old-fashioned iron. You've gained +1 hack and +1 strength. So do I not... Huh. I guess I don't get to actually do anything in that point. It's just... This is like a really... what's the word I'm looking for? A really interesting way of distributing stat points, as opposed to just clicking them all with character creation. You actually have to experience it, I guess.
Laverne, Florida hosts the Navy's premier tactical training school.
Insane.
While maybe not as respected as the Marines facility at Fort Bush, there's a lot to be learned here.
Ooh, that was tricky. So these all have changed, apparently. So that is training.
The UNN Pierce is ferrying liberated political prisoners back home from their detention near Saturn. The Pierce has been assigned a detachment of Marines and needs sailors to load, administer, and maintain the arms on board the ship.
Alright, so I was only half right. In that, yes, this is an interesting way of distributing stats, but looks like they're gonna be different every time.
The UNN Carfax is undertaking a mission to examine a newly discovered Class B comet approaching the outer solar system.
February 11th, 2113. Your tour of duty aboard the UNN Carfax has concluded. It was a good year for you, but not a great one for the Carfax. After taking a surprise hit from a small meteorite that separated from the larger mass, the Carfax was forced to limp home with 123 casualties, holy lord, including the chief navigation officer. You stepped in and filled his shoes, and by then end of the year? That doesn't sound right. You have become quite skilled with the neuro-nav interface. You've gained +2 cybernetic affinity, which is good, because I am hoping to be a cyborg in this game. I really hope that's possible. 0G training, survival training, research facility, what's this?
The Navy's Marie Curie Research Facility on Aquinas 4 is currently conducting research on a new strain of spaceborne virus that killed 220,000 citizens of New Atlanta. To lift the quarantine, we must determine how the virus pierced the city's micro-nanite shielding.
Okay.
The Navy maintains a survival training school on the surface of Io, the third moon of Jupiter. Pros? There's no better way to improve stamina and survival skills. Cons? The 21.2% mortality rate.
Pros, you get stronger. Cons, there's a good chance you'll die.
The Navy strongly encourages every sailor to undertake some amount of zero-G training. A year at the Yamamoto space station in Earth's orbit will more than suffice.
Research...
The Navy maintains a survival training school on the surface. The Navy strongly encourages every sailor to undertake some amount of zero-G training. A year at the Yamamoto space station in Earth's orbit will more than suffice.
What? I don't know. What should I do? Let's go with... agility.
The Navy strongly encourages every sailor to undertake some amount of zero-G training.
February 9th, 2114. Your tour of duty at Yamamoto Station has concluded. You certainly weren't prepared for the events of this year. Captain Willits was never popular with his men, but you never expected half of the crew to mutiny. The taut days spent regaining control of the ship with the captain lent you a grace and agility you never knew you were capable of. You've gained +2 agility. None of the things that they said... Oh my god.
Reinitializing memory strings. Restoring patient memory. Restoring memory. Restoring memory.
Steady yourself, soldier. This is Dr. Janice Polito of the computer ops staff of the Von Braun. You're safe for the time being. You're recovering from the effects of surgery and will be unable to remember any of the events of the last few weeks. You're on board the starship Von Braun and something's gone very, very wrong. Some kind of force has hijacked this ship. That's why you volunteered to be implanted with some experimental cybernetic implants. Rely on your cyber interface. It just might save your life. You must find an elevator and come up to Deck 4 to meet me. Deck 4. Can you remember that? But keep your eyes open. They're after us both now. Watch out. I'm getting strange readings from that radar dish outside the window. It's become unstable due to... Move! Take cover!
Critical decompression hazard in the cryo recovery suite. Evacuate immediately.
Oh, Jesus. Hey, where am I going? Okay. Okay, that didn't work. There we go. Okay. That was a pretty interesting intro. Type. Oh!
The entire sector is depressurizing and the blue vacuum shield won't last long. Get through a secure airlock before you're sucked into space. Move it!
Fascinated.
Push. 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 Oh, nuts. Where does it go? Door. Open the door.
Great. I've got to change the access codes out of Cryo A again. Like I've got nothing better to do. I think Grassy just likes to make work for me. I'll set the new code to 45100. That should be easy enough to remember.
4. That's not a 4. 5, 1, 0, 0. Yeah. Jeez. Oh, jeez. Okay, Alright.
Warning. Decompression event imminent.
Oh,
Please
Jesus.
move immediately to cryo recovery B. Decompression event imminent.
Okay.
Airlock door inoperative.
This power cell
Auxiliary
is
power
dead.
override failed.
There should be a recharger
Please
nearby.
replace power
Just
cell.
use it and it will recharge all the power-driven devices in your possession. After you've recharged the cell, plug it into the auxiliary power unit. That should open the airlock door. Good. You've managed to get out before the whole area depressurized. I've just uploaded you some cybernetic modules. You can use them to upgrade your cybernetic rig at the upgrade units in this area. There are 4 types of units in the next room, one for each subsystem of your cybernetic gear. Stats, psi, weapons, and tech. But use the modules carefully. They're hard to come by.
There's a lot of talking in this right now. I feel like... I really like this game so far. Yeah. It's got a nice feel to it. Wait, what is that? Oh, okay. Strength. Okay. We'll have... Hang on. barely have any of it. Let's do that. That work? Yes, it did. Cool. Alright. Well, that's gonna end part 2 of System Shock. I hope you guys will join me for part 3, and until next time, I will see you guys later.